So it turns out you've never seen this as your home. You're only acting the part of a daughter-in-law, right? There are pains that never grow into sound. Women who have given up their youth, given up their brightest years, to build a family's happiness, only to be treated as outsiders in the very house they call my home. Have you ever felt that way? If you have, please share your story in the comments. Perhaps today you'll see your own reflection in this tale. Every family has a special day when members gather, honour tradition and pay tribute to their ancestors. For Rosa's family, Family Blessing Day isn't just a festival. It's a source of pride, a thread that ties generations together. This year the festival matters even more because it's the first time Maya, the new daughter-in-law, attends as an official family member. Maya's heart is full of hope. She prepares a special offering from her own tradition, wishing to bring a harmony of two cultures. That morning, the kitchen glows in pale golden light. Maya, the young bride, cheerfully prepares breakfast. On the table are traditional dishes from her childhood, the aroma warm and tender. She believes that if she is sincere enough, mother-in-law Rosa will open her heart. Maya smiles, hoping today will be a good beginning. Right then, Rosa walks in. Her eyes sweep across the offering table, and the smile on Maya's lips fades at once. Rosa, frowning, voice cold. Maya: on Family Blessing Day, only this family's traditional items are allowed. Rosa, enunciating: this dish looks strange, doesn't it? In this house, breakfast is only plain porridge and bread, Maya. Anything else will bring bad omens. Maya freezes, her hand still resting on her offering. Her eyes tremble for a second, but she tries to keep calm. Maya: I only wanted to add a bit of my family's culture, as a blessing for both sides. I just wanted a hint of new flavour. Maybe everyone would like it. Rosa looks at her daughter-in-law as if she'd committed a grave crime. Rosa, every word clipped. This family is not a testing ground. I've lived my entire life this way, and it has never been wrong. The air congeals. Leo, Maya's husband, tries to mediate. Leo: Mom, it's just food. But Rosa cuts him off, voice sharp. Rosa: be quiet. This isn't about food. This is about family order. The words slice like a knife. Maya shivers slightly. The spoon in her hand trembles. Something breaks inside her. Sometimes people aren't rejecting a dish. They're denying your entire existence. Maya stands there, quietly drawing her hands back like a scolded child, wounded and choking on her hurt. She squeezes the necklace on her chest, whispering to herself, I only want to be accepted. Why is that so hard? Family conflict rarely starts with a loud fight. It usually begins with tiny things, a look, a line, an offering that seems harmless. But from there, cracks begin to spread. Have you ever felt like an outsider in your own family? Share your story in the comments, because maybe today you'll find yourself in this tale. After breakfast, Maya quietly tidies the kitchen. Leo walks in, guilt in his eyes. Leo, don't be upset. Mom's just a little strict. She cares about you. Maya stops and turns. Her eyes are red. Her voice shakes, heavy with outrage. Maya: cares? Since the day I stepped into this house, have you ever heard her say one word of acknowledgement? It's always orders and scrutiny. Leo is silent. The answer never comes. Maya feels like she's talking to a wall. That afternoon, Rosa spreads a long checklist on the living room table. Maya approaches uneasy. Rosa: Maya, your ceremonial dress must be ivory. No flashy accessories. The altar displays only this family's ancestors. Nothing else, is that clear? Maya bites her lip, trying to keep her voice gentle. Maya: only want to place one photo of my family, on the very bottom. They saved my life during the wildfire. I want a way to remember and thank them." Rosa looks up, thunder in her eyes. "Rosa, no! Top and bottom still mean hierarchy. If you want to be a daughter-in-law here, forget the old things." Maya's chest tightens. She trembles but tries to stay calm. "Maya, but—" "Memories can't be thrown away like trash, Mother." Rosa slams her hand on the table. The sound is chilling. "Rosa, memories won't feed this family. Don't use that past to fight me." Silently erased. Some pain doesn't come from big blows, but from small cuts repeated again and again. A little each day, until the heart bleeds without knowing it's dying in silence. Have you ever had someone control your every breath and step and call it love? Share your story in the comments, because perhaps you'll see yourself in Maya, a woman slowly losing herself. The family festival draws near. Rosa, Maya's mother-in-law, acts like a commanding general. She controls not only the food and the altar arrangement, but even dictates what Maya must wear. Each morning, Rosa stands in the living room, voice like an order. "Rosa. Maya, remember." In the fruit tray, the mango in the center, apples around it. Flowers tilting left. Don't clutter it like last time. Maya nods lightly, lips trembling. Maya, "Yes, Mother." Before she can breathe, Rosa points to the hanging outfit. "Rosa. And here, an ivory ceremonial dress. No accessories, no earrings, and absolutely no items from that old tribe of yours." Her words cut like a knife. The room is so silent, Maya hears her heartbeat. She wants to resist, but only swallows her tears and whispers, "Maya, I understand." That night, Maya sits on the bed, clutching her ancestral necklace, the only thing left from her lost family. It's not just jewelry, it's her memory and root. Leo walks in. Maya gathers her courage, takes his hand and pleads, "Maya, Leo, I feel suffocated. Every day I hear your mother's commands, every detail controlled. I am no longer me." Leo hesitates, then sighs. "Leo, I know. But please bear with Mom a little longer. After the festival, things will be easier." What sounds like comfort is a door slamming shut for Maya. She gives a brittle laugh, tears spilling. "Maya, you always tell me to try a little more. Have you ever asked how much I have left to give?" Leo lowers his head, unable to meet her wounded eyes. From then on, Maya speaks less. Outwardly, she nods and obeys Rosa. Inside, she keeps what's hers hidden away in a corner of the room, her safe corner. Each night, when everyone sleeps, she opens the small wooden box. Inside are tribal keepsakes, her necklace, a vial of sacred earth, an old family photo. Only when she touches them does she feel she still exists. When you must hide what is inherently part of you, that's not living, it's surviving in an invisible cage. The conflict no longer stops at control. Rosa starts using words that choke Maya, wrapped in the foil of concern. One morning, as Maya rearranges the altar, Rosa walks in, looks around and inhales. Rosa, cold. "Maya, do you really think this altar looks proper? Perhaps where you're from. They don't know how to respect the dead." Maya freezes, her hands falter. She tries to explain, "Maya, I just wanted a few more blossoms so the altar feels warmer." Rosa whips around, eyes like blades. "Rosa, warmth? In this house, warmth obeys rules. Don't bring your odd habits in here." The words drench Maya like cold water. She presses her lips to keep from crying. She tells Leo, hoping he will defend her. Again, his answer disappoints. "Leo, Mum only wants everything perfect." "Can you endure her a little more?" Maya laughs through tears. Maya, do you know that each time she speaks like that, I feel like I'm not allowed to exist? Nothing hurts more than when the one you love most stands outside your life and says, just try a little more. Rosa keeps pushing further. One evening, as Maya folds her dress, Rosa bursts in, holding the necklace Maya left on the table. Rosa, what is this? How many times have I said, don't bring these meaningless things into our family rites? Maya snatches the necklace, clutching it tight, her voice trembling but firm. Maya, this is not meaningless. It's my memory, my flesh and blood. Rosa gives a cold, contemptuous laugh. Rosa, memory? Your memory only shames this house. If you want to stay here, drop it all. Maya collapses to the floor, hugging the necklace, tears rolling down. Sallow light spills across the wall, two opposing silhouettes sharp against it, one proud, one small. Day by day, Maya bears it all. Not because she is weak, but because she trusts. She believes if she tries a little more, Rosa will understand and love her as a daughter. But sometimes, the more you endure, the more others think they have the right to impose. How many women out there have heard these words? How many times have you hidden your true self, just to be called a good daughter-in-law, a gentle wife? If you've ever been like Maya, share your story in the comments, speak up, so other women know they are not alone. Black screen, white text appears. Sometimes silence is the loudest cry for help. Silently erased. Some pain doesn't come from big blows, but from small cuts repeated again and again. A little each day, until the heart bleeds without knowing it's dying in silence. Have you ever had someone control your every breath and step and call it love? Share your story in the comments. Because perhaps you'll see yourself in Maya, a woman slowly losing herself. The family festival draws near. Rosa, Maya's mother-in-law, acts like a commanding general. She controls not only the food and the altar arrangement, but even dictates what Maya must wear. Each morning, Rosa stands in the living room, voice like an order. Rosa, Maya, remember. In the fruit tray, the mango in the center, apples around it. Flowers tilting left, don't clutter it like last time. Maya nods lightly, lips trembling. Maya, yes, mother. Before she can breathe, Rosa points to the hanging outfit. Rosa. And here, an ivory ceremonial dress. No accessories, no earrings, and absolutely no items from that old tribe of yours. Her words cut like a knife. The room is so silent, Maya hears her heartbeat. She wants to resist, but only swallows her tears and whispers, Maya, I understand. That night, Maya sits on the bed, clutching her ancestral necklace, the only thing left from her lost family. It's not just jewelry, it's her memory and root. Leo walks in. Maya gathers her courage, takes his hand and pleads, Maya, Leo. I feel suffocated. Every day I hear your mother's commands, every detail controlled. I am no longer me. Leo hesitates, then sighs. Leo, I know. But please bear with Mum a little longer. After the festival, things will be easier. What sounds like comfort is a door slamming shut for Maya. She gives a brittle laugh, tears spilling. Maya, you always tell me to try a little more. Have you ever asked how much I have left to give? Leo lowers his head, unable to meet her wounded eyes. From then on, Maya speaks less. Outwardly, she nods and obeys Rosa. Inside, she keeps what's hers hidden away in a corner of the room, her safe corner. Each night, when everyone sleeps, she opens the small wooden box. Inside are tribal keepsakes, her necklace, a vial of sacred earth, an old family photo. Only when she touches them does she feel she still exists. When you must hide what is inherently part of you, that's not living. It's surviving in an invisible cage. The conflict no longer stops at control. Rosa starts using words that choke Maya, wrapped in the foil of concern. One morning, as Maya rearranges the altar, Rosa walks in, looks around and inhales. Rosa, cold. Maya, do you really think this altar looks proper? Perhaps where you're from, they don't know how to respect the dead? Maya freezes, her hands falter. She tries to explain, Maya, I just wanted a few more blossoms so the altar feels warmer. Rosa whips around, eyes like blades. Rosa, warmth? In this house, warmth obeys rules. Don't bring your odd habits in here. The words drench Maya like cold water. She presses her lips to keep from crying. She tells Leo, hoping he will defend her. Again, his answer disappoints. Leo, Mom only wants everything perfect. Can you endure her a little more? Maya laughs through tears. Maya, do you know that each time she speaks like that, I feel like I'm not allowed to exist? Nothing hurts more than when the one you love most stands outside your life and says, just try a little more. Rosa keeps pushing further. One evening, as Maya folds her dress, Rosa bursts in, holding the necklace Maya left on the table. Rosa, what is this? How many times have I said, don't bring these meaningless things into our family rites? Maya snatches the necklace, clutching it tight, her voice trembling but firm. Maya, this is not meaningless. It's my memory, my flesh and blood. Rosa gives a cold, contemptuous laugh. Rosa, memory? Your memory only shames this house. If you want to stay here, drop it all. Maya collapses to the floor, hugging the necklace, tears rolling down. Sallow light spills across the wall, two opposing silhouettes sharp against it, one proud, one small. Day by day, Maya bears it all. Not because she is weak, but because she trusts. She believes if she tries a little more, Rosa will understand and love her as a daughter. But sometimes, the more you endure, the more others think they have the right to impose. How many women out there have heard these words? How many times have you hidden your true self just to be called a good daughter-in-law, a gentle wife? If you've ever been like Maya, share your story in the comments, speak up, so other women know they are not alone. Black screen, white text appears. Sometimes silence is the loudest cry for help. If you've ever been asked to erase yourself to be accepted, leave a line in the comments. You may not realize it, but this story is speaking for your heart, and perhaps for thousands of other women. On the night before the festival, the house glows softly, as if trying to lull away all weariness. Then, click, the cupboard door snaps open in the hallway, a small sound that rings like an accusation. Rosa, fingers still smelling of candle wax, spots Maya's wooden box in the drawer. The lid isn't locked. Strict by habit, she rummages to see if Maya hides anything. Inside, a wooden box within. She opens it. An indigenous necklace, sacred leaves, a photo of Maya's lost family. But in Rosa's eyes, it's another altar secretly raised inside the home, a territory beyond her control. She can't name the fear. She only feels the blood rush to her temples, as if the order she's guarded all her life is being punctured. Her gaze darkens. She lifts the necklace, voice ice cold. Rosa, you built a separate altar in this house. Maya steps in, struck dumb. Maya, that's not an altar. It's my memory, my roots. Rosa advances, cornering Maya against the wall, her voice a lash. Rosa, your memory is a thorn in my eye. This house has only one family, and it isn't yours. Maya clutches the box to her chest. Tears pour down. Maya, I never wanted to oppose you. I only need a place to breathe, a small corner so I won't forget who I am. Rosa whirls around. Her eyes are no longer a mother's, but a gatekeeper's. She rushes forward, voice blazing. You never considered this place home. You've been performing as a daughter-in-law, haven't you? Performing. The word cuts with a double edge, criticism and denial. It says everything good Maya has done is fake. In an instant, all the early mornings cooking porridge, the late nights straightening altar flowers, the times she swallowed tears when corrected about a spoon's position, wiped out by 2 words, performing. She tries to salvage it. It's not like that. I only want to keep a part of myself. Rosa slices across her breath, every word hard and merciless. If you can't let go of your old home, you will never truly belong to this one. The room freezes. Maya's heart is crushed in a fist. She looks up, pain and resistance crowding her eyes, but also dignity. She speaks softly, each word set on her heartbeat. Belonging doesn't mean erasing who I am. Rosa looks at the necklace in the box. She picks it up. For 1 second her hand falters. Deep down she is still a mother who knows love. But the fear of losing control wins. She twists the necklace and throws it hard to the floor. The clink against the tile. Clang isn't loud, but its tail is long. It slashes the air. Maya drops to her knees reflexively, cupping the wooden beads as if protecting a child. The floor's chill pierces her knees. The metal tang of the screws rises into her nose. Rosa looks down from above, her voice low and even, like pronouncing a sentence. From now on, you're the keeper of rituals, not family. Don't bring that stale ego of yours to the center of my family's altar. Maya closes her eyes. The words keeper of rituals drop on her like pebbles. A keeper, a title without a chair at the table, without the right to be wrong, only the duty to do it right. Not family, stripping warmth, the right to be weak, to lean. Stale ego, a label slapped on her brow. Everything about her is outdated, disposable. I'm here to belong. Maya opens her eyes, voice husky. Not to be erased. One home must have one mould, Rosa says, brushing an invisible speck off her hem, smoothing the fabric. This mould existed before you came. You come, you fill it. Done. Footsteps in the hall. Leo. He stops at the doorway, eyes wide at the glitter of broken wood on the floor. What? He looks from kneeling Maya to standing Rosa. The question dies. Maya looks up. Her tears have dried. What's left is a thin, hard surface. She picks the largest bead, places it on her palm, lifts it like a fallen star. I won't let my past dirty this house, she says slowly, clearly. But I won't let this house dirty my past either. Leo steps forward, kneels beside his wife, lays a hand on her shoulder. The gesture is ordinary enough to hurt, touch that comes too late. Maya gently shrugs him off, not hard, just enough that his hand has nowhere to hold. He withdraws like a child who's spilled water and can only watch the wet mark spread. Tomorrow the ceremony proceeds, Rosa says to the wall. By the rules. By the rules rolls into the space between them, then to the baseboard and stays there. Maya rises. She gathers the broken beads into her sleeve, tugging it into a pouch. She looks around the room one last time. The bed, the cupboard, the curtain she retied, mute objects into which she tried to tuck a little of herself. They look back, silent. The door closes, not a slam, just the long squeak of an overstretched hinge. Leo still kneels. Rosa still stands. The light doesn't change. Only something has gone out, and no one knows where the switch is. On the porch, wind shakes last season's chime, soft, trembling. Maya pauses on the step, inhales. Dew cools her hair. She opens her sleeve and lets the beads fall into her palm, one round, one long, one curved. They are still themselves, just no longer connected. She clenches them, letting the edges press into her skin. The feeling holds her upright. Leo stands. "Mom," he says, voice like someone crossing a slick moss bank. "You shouldn't—" "Don't teach me in this house," Rosa says, adjusting a photo in its frame, nudging it to the center. "Tomorrow you take care of guests. Don't miss anyone." "I'll handle the ceremony tomorrow," Leo says, looking at his mother's back then at the space where the door just closed. "But after the ceremony I'll handle the home." Rosa stops moving but says nothing. Everything is aligned, everything by the rules. Only one thing is crooked, and she doesn't know how to set it right. Maya walks across the back courtyard, stepping on cold tiles. Her shadow stretches long, bleeding into the mossy wall like spilled ink. She rinses her hands in the basin, off flour, off dust, off the trace of blood from pressed beads. The water lifts the tiniest splinters away. She watches them drift without grasping or naming. She sits on the lowest step, back to the wall. Inside, dishes clink. Footsteps pass. Out here only insects sing and the earth smells damp. She touches the bare place on her neck where the beads once lay. Her skin leaves a thin warmth. She closes her eyes. From far away comes the memory of those who pulled her from the fire. A hand reaching, a blanket over her shoulders, a bowl of warm water. They are not on Rosa's altar, but they are the altar in her chest. "I will live," she tells the night, "as myself." She opens her eyes, goes to the side gate, lifts the wooden latch that always squeaks like a hungry bird, and slips out. The alley is dim. Sodium lights draw yellow stripes on the cement. With each step, a string around her ankle loosens, quiet enough to go unnoticed, firm enough to keep her from walking back with the same feet. Inside, Leo still faces his mother. He thinks of how often he said just a little more. Those little mores have become a track circling the house with no exit. He thinks of his wedding promise, "We'll make a home." He can't recall where he dropped the word together. "Mum," he says, "I don't want a perfect ceremony if it makes our family's heart square at the corners." "Pretty words," Rosa answers coolly. "A house stands by rules, not by poetic lines. A house stands because people stand beside one another," Leo says, placing the remaining bead on the table, neat as a question without a mark. "I'll welcome guests tomorrow. Tonight I'm going to find Maya." Rosa doesn't stop him. She sits, fingers interlaced, eyes fixed on the emptiness between framed photos. That space suddenly feels too empty. The alley opens to the main road. Maya turns left. She doesn't know where she'll go. Maybe a friend's place, the old boarding room, a cafe open all night. She knows one thing, where she is called by her true name, that is home, before any object is placed on any altar. Night wind carries a faint bell. Porch bell or somewhere else? Maya doesn't look back. She hears enough to know that behind her, the house is still preparing for tomorrow. Tablecloth smooth, bowls stacked in order, candle wicks trimmed to burn on time. Everything will be right, except the one thing that must be. At a bend, Maya stops. She pulls out the one bead left intact after the throw, turns it between her fingers, then lays it on her palm and closes her hand. Warmth from her skin seeps in. The sky is clean, high. Tomorrow they will have a ceremony, she says to an unseen loved one. And I will have an answer. Inside, Rosa lights incense. The fragrance curls, tangling with her hair. If anyone is here, she whispers, tell me, was I right? No reply. Only a thin, steady thread of smoke rises. She sits and looks at the offerings. After a moment, she notices an empty spot on the right shelf, the place where Maya liked to tuck a small sprig for the smell of people. She pulled it off that afternoon. Now the space is so empty even the light avoids it. She brushes her hem again, an imaginary speck once more. Leo walks the streets, calling his wife in his heart. He knows she hates honking, likes tree-lined roads, cafes with old wooden chairs. He scans those places. At the third intersection, he stops and calls. The phone rings, no answer. He hangs up, types, I'm sorry I left you to stand alone. He deletes, types, I'm at the Tamarind Crossroads. Deletes again. In the end, he sends a single dot. Sometimes all words are useless when the reader is no longer there to hear. Wind rushes in with the smell of rain. A cold drop hits his brow. He closes his eyes. Behind his eyelids, he sees Maya on the step, cradling broken beads. His mother at the altar, hands joined by habit. Himself small in a big house. I'll handle the ceremony tomorrow, he murmurs to the two women stretching his heart in opposite directions. But after the ceremony, I'll handle the home. Night deepens. Rosa's house dims, one lamp left burning patiently in the main room. A dry leaf falls by the side gate. Tomorrow someone will sweep it away, like sweeping off all traces that don't fit the mould. But somewhere else in the city, on another step, a woman holds a single wooden bead in her palm, warming it like a small flame. Bright enough to see her path, even as the house behind still glows gold. One sentence can shatter a heart. How many women have heard words like these? If you've ever been Maya, share your story, so another woman will know she is not alone. If you've passed a night like that, a night when one sentence snapped the last string, leave one line below. So when someone lost stumbles upon it, they'll know. Some homes only need hearts to be right before rules are right. And no one deserves to erase herself to stand in a family portrait. This year's Family Blessing Day feels strange. The sky is clear, the sun spreads evenly across the roof tiles, birds sing as always, but the air inside Rosa's home is gloomy enough for anyone to sense it. Yellow lights are switched on earlier than usual, as if daylight isn't enough. Everything is by the rules. Altar scented with fresh incense, glossy fruit, bowls and chopsticks in straight lines. Only one empty place, Maya's seat. Relatives arrive, tidy clothes, smiling mouths, eyes that measure. An aunt, basket of pastries in hand, pauses at the gate as if checking what's missing, then whispers, "Where's the girl, Maya?" A cousin murmurs back, "No one's seen her since last night." Even the man parking his bike cracks a half joke. The new bride is playing hard to get. Rosa hears everything. She forces a smile. Come in, it's sunny. Hands receive gifts, lips instruct neat placement. But a storm churns within. She knows the ceremony must not fail. She has kept order all her life. She won't let a childish matter ruin grown-up business. Yet standing before the altar, looking at the smooth embroidered runner, she notices a single thread at the edge turned up. That tiny fray bites her eye, a cousin coos, sweet but sharp. Rosa, with a new daughter-in-law, the house sounds a little short on a woman's voice. Rosa says she's busy with something. A long then a thin laugh like a blade. Modern brides, lots of freedom. Freedom scratches Rosa's ear. She inhales, straightens a crooked button. The scene from last night flashes. Shattered beads, Maya kneeling over them. Her throat tightens, but she swallows it, like a bitter pill. Rules first, she tells herself. After the ceremony, we deal with it. The ceremony starts. Missing a young woman's, "Yes, ma'am," a steady hand under the bowls, a gentle smile in the kitchen. One person absent, half the rhythm gone. Leo paces with the guest list, thoughts tangled like thread. He searched all night, alleys and corners, listening to engines, never finding Maya. He texted, called, sent even a single dot and deleted. He returned in the morning just in time to help, but his steps feel heavy. He sees the empty chair. Every turn of his head still empty, like a palm striking his chest. Where'd the girl go? An uncle asks at lunch, less cautious now. If she's not here, plenty of others can do the chores. An aunt adds, arranging spring rolls. Big family of women. More murmurs, ordinary words, sharp intent. Not concern, but labels for absence. Stubborn, rude, disrespectful. Rosa tightens her lips. She wants to say, "Let's eat," but her mouth goes dry. She carries a tray of bowls into the kitchen to avoid their eyes. The kitchen is emptier than usual. Soup still bubbles gently, like a heartbeat pretending to be fine. She opens a drawer and finds the packet of herbs Maya used to tuck on the shelf edge for a human scent in the house. Yesterday, Rosa removed it, left it on top of the cupboard. The smell remains, Maya's smell. Not luxurious, not like Rosa's candle wax, earthy and warm. Rosa lifts it to her nose, inhales lightly, then sets it down. Her hand trembles. In the living room, the ceremony ends. Everyone has comments. Each home its own rules, says one. Young women are hard to please, says another. An elder sighs. Mother-in-law and daughter-in-law always clash. What matters is being sensible. Sensible. The word pins Rosa's chest like a brooch. All her life, she's lived to be called sensible. She thought she was teaching her daughter-in-law to be sensible. Now the same word turns on her. She rises, smiles politely. "Thank you for coming." "Everything is fine." Everything is fine falls to the tile and shatters like thin porcelain. No one bends to pick it up. Meanwhile, Maya is at Ava's place, her college friend. A small room on the 3rd floor. The window faces a lane of tangled cables and potted cacti. Maya hugs her knees on a thin mattress. Her eyes are swollen like after a rainy season. "Eat something," Ava says, setting hot porridge down. Sweet voice, strong spine. Crying takes energy. Maya smiles crookedly. "I'm exhausted." "I feel too empty." "Then pour something else in." Ava nudges the spoon. "Since last night you've only been pouring them in. Their words, their order, their ritual. Where are you? Where are you?" The question drags Maya back to the shattered beads in her hand. She touches the bare place at her neck. The emptiness makes her shiver. She breathes. "I don't want to fight anymore. You know how hard I've tried. But if belonging means erasing..." "I can't." Ava squeezes her shoulder. "You're not wrong to keep yourself. The next decision is yours, stay or go. If you stay, set boundaries. If you go, place a period. Both are hard, but you get to choose. The phone pings. Leo, I'm at the gate. Maya startles. Ava nods. Go. Walk with your own feet. Leo leans on the wall, shirt still smelling of incense smoke. He looks worn, but his eyes are warm. Seeing Maya, he almost moves to hug her, then stops, remembering the way she shrugged his hand away. He steps back half a pace to keep the space safe. He starts, then swallows a pile of useless words and picks the right ones. I was wrong to let you fight alone. Mom doesn't see how hard you've tried. I didn't either. I'm sorry. Maya looks at the tip of her shoe. Wind sweeps stray hair across her cheek. Sorry is easy, she says, tired, not harsh. Change is hard. What will you change? He swallows. I will stand beside you, not in the middle. I'll tell Mom after the ceremony. Know now that our home has space for you intact. Not as a keeper of rituals. Can you bear being out of sync for a while? Maya asks. It'll be rough. Mom will be angry. Relatives will talk. You'll be stuck between two sides. I've been stuck for a long time, Leo says. Sad smile, but stuck outside. If I must be stuck, I choose to be stuck beside you. A beat of quiet. I'm tired, Leo. I know, he says. You have the right to rest. If you want to leave this marriage, I won't stop you. If you want to stay, I must start over. Clear boundaries, clear respect, clear role. What's your role? Your husband, not the deputy director of family rituals. And my mother's son, but not her loudspeaker. It's so simple she lets out a hoarse, real laugh. He sounds different, at least in naming things. But between naming and doing is a long road. I won't return just to continue the war, Maya says, slow. I'll return only if our home is different from their ceremony. Give me one day. No, an afternoon, Leo says. I'll talk to Mom. If it fails, I'll move out. You come or don't come. You don't have to face it yet. But the choice will be yours, not the mold's. Maya weighs it. Today's fatigue against a warmer tomorrow, the fear of being labelled bad daughter-in-law against faith that love must now show action. A whole Maya against a Maya poured into a mould. Okay, she says softly, but slow. Don't drag me back for a staged happy family. I can't act. No one will ask you to perform, Leo says. If anyone performs, it's me. Dialogue, refusal, boundaries. You only need to stay or go according to your heart. She studies her hands. The small cut from last night has dried, skin pulling. She rubs it with her thumb. Hurts just enough, she thinks. Enough to know I still feel. Go home, she tells him. I'll stay here today. Tomorrow, we'll see. Thank you, he says, voice trembling, for not letting go of yourself. If I let go, she tilts her head. Who would hold me? Evening falls. Rosa's house empties. Laughter thins like smoke. Petals rest on tiles. Rosa sits alone at the long table, a half-drunk tea cooling. She lifts the cup, then stops. No taste, Leo enters. No relatives to perform for, no chatter to fill holes, just mother, son, a tired kitchen. Mum, he says calmly, we need to talk about our home. Our home is fine, Rosa says, chin up. Only some people are not sensible. If the home is fine but missing its people, who is it fine for? Leo asks. Do you want a ceremony or a home? Rosa looks at her son, resolve and weariness sparring in her eyes. She places the spoon down. I'm afraid, she whispers as if scared to hear herself. Afraid that if I loosen my grip, I'll lose you. Afraid that foreign scent overtakes our scent. Afraid that one day I'll look back and this house won't be ours anymore. Home isn't a smell, Leo replies. Home is people. And people differ. If you hold me by a mould, you'll lose me. If you lift both me and Maya, you'll keep us both. Rosa is quiet. She thinks of the herb bundle Maya used to tuck, of her daughter-in-law's eyes last night, hurt but proud. She blurts, I went too far. It's not too late to soften, Leo says. I ask one thing, give Maya back her name. Not keeper of rituals, not performer, just family. I'll handle the rest, move out if needed, not out of spite, but to give you both time to learn each other's language. Night drops. In Ava's loft, Maya lies on her side, staring at a dark corner of the ceiling. The phone buzzes. Leo. Mum says, whenever you want, come home for dinner. Not for ceremony. Dinner. The two words make her throat warm. Dinner is the most ordinary thing. Real life. No embroidered runner, no new wicks, just sitting down together. She types, no promise for tomorrow. But thank you. Wind slips through the bars. Ava turns, pulls the blanket over Maya, murmurs. Sleep. Tomorrow you're still you. Maya closes her eyes. In her palm she holds the single hole bead, the survivor of the throw. Small warming. She isn't empty anymore. Not because someone filled her, but because she placed herself back in. The festival may be complete. But the home, it's time to reshape it, with hands that can still feel pain. And if she must choose, Maya knows. She'll choose heart right first, rules right after. Because home, after all, is where one is called by the right name, not keeper of rituals, but family. The night after the ceremony, Rosa's house was so quiet you could hear the clock hands touch. Incense clung to the curtains, teacups sat upside down on the rack, the tablecloth lay ironed flat to the point of being emotionless. Maya's chair was like a hollow of light. Lamp struck it, then slipped away. Leo leaned against the kitchen doorway, shirt creased from all the roads he had walked, eyes tired from a night of searching. He turned on the tap, caught a glass of water, then set it down again, as if what he thirsted for wasn't in the glass. He drew a long breath. Mom, he called, voice lowered. Let me tell this, please don't cut me off. Rosa didn't turn. She sat on the edge of a chair, hand resting on a bowl of mung bean sweet soup gone cold, her finger tracing the rim without thinking. On the shelf, where Maya used to tuck a tiny sprig of scented leaves so the house smells like people, only a fine streak of dust remained. Back then, Leo began slowly, before I met Maya, she lived through a wildfire. Maya lost her whole family in a single night. They pulled her out of the ashes. She held only a little tube of sacred earth someone had scooped in time, a string of wooden beads still smelling of smoke, and a piece of embroidered cloth. Rosa jolted. The words lost her whole family touched something between her breastbone and throat. She kept her back straight, but her breathing changed tempo. You thought that wooden box was a second altar, Leo continued, but to Maya it's an oxygen tank. Every time she touches the bead, she breathes a little deeper. Every time she wipes that cloth, she steadies a little more. No one else can hear the sound of memory. Only the one who has lost can hear it. Images flickered across Rosa's mind. Maya at the table, rolling the beads between two fingers, eyes quiet as if listening to a melody no one else could hear. Maya tiptoeing to set a spoon exactly as told, then closing a door so gently the hinge never squeaked. The gestures Rosa had once labelled as overly cautious shifted their meaning. They were the way a person learns to breathe again. I'm terrified, Leo said, naming it for the first time. You're terrified you'll lose me if you loosen your grip. That strange sense will drown out the smell of home. But Maya is terrified too, in her own way, afraid to lose the last piece of herself. Last night, when you said ritual keeper, you kept the mold, but she lost her name. Rosa blinked slowly, as if she needed time for the words to find their rightful place inside her. She looked down at her hands and saw the small calluses from decades of carrying, arranging, keeping order. A sentence slipped out, thin as a thread. I went too far. I thought keeping my son meant keeping him with my hands. Turns out you keep with trust. Leo's shoulders dropped, like he'd set a heavy stone on the floor. He wasn't trying to win. He was opening a door. I'm going to find Maya, he said, but I need to bring one thing from you. Not to beg, just to begin again. Rosa was quiet for a moment. The silence wasn't pride. It was her listening to herself. She lifted her head and looked at the empty right-hand shelf, the spot where the sprig had been. When she'd removed it, she'd only thought, keep things proper. Rosa's shoulders slackened. She smoothed her blouse, this time to steady herself. In a husky voice, she said, tell her she can come home for a meal whenever she wants. And tell her, I don't know how to love her yet, but I want to learn. Only give me time. Leo nodded. Inside him, a boulder crumbled into sand. Rosa nodded too, very slightly. In her mind, the flames of a wildfire she hadn't caused suddenly lit up the things she herself had burned with her fear of loss. That morning, dawn seemed to arrive earlier than usual. A rosy light slid through the window, laying its hand on each object in the house. Rosa opened the cupboard and took out the heirloom wooden necklace wrapped in a cloth. Not precious like diamonds, but precious because it had travelled through many lives. She stepped slowly to the door, then turned back for a light shawl. Ava's small loft greeted Rosa with the scent of tea and steady breathing. Maya sat on the steps, hair tied back, eyes still puffed after a long night. Ava opened the door, nodded softly, and withdrew, leaving the small space between them clear. Rosa didn't come with grand, sweeping words. She stood in worn-heeled shoes, back bending a little with age. The cloth in her hands felt like a small bird waiting to be set somewhere safe. Maya, have a few minutes? Rosa asked, looking straight at Maya, no circling around. Maya nodded. She didn't invite Rosa further in, but she didn't block the doorway either. She kept a distance just right for two people to truly see each other. Rosa sat on the wooden chair by the window, unfolded the cloth, revealing the heirloom necklace. The old wood cast a warm stripe across the table. Maya, I was wrong, Rosa began steady. I thought keeping my son meant keeping everything, our order, our sense, our spaces, even the very breath inside this house. I forgot. A house is not a ceremony. Ceremonies need a proper mould. A home needs room for people to breathe. Maya swallowed. I was wrong went through her like a warm sip of water after a long thirst. She didn't rush toward it. She sat still, hands resting on her knees. You don't need to abandon your old home, Rosa said, laying each word like a brick. Bring it and let it blend into this one, that right-hand shelf. I removed your leaves. From now on it stays empty, for you. Put whatever you wish there. I will learn to set the heart right before the rules. Maya looked at the corner of cloth. A thin line of tears brimmed without spilling. Rosa set her hand on the table, steadying herself so as not to jostle the younger woman's feelings. This necklace, Rosa lifted it with both hands, I inherited from Leo's grandmother. Maya reached out. Her wrist trembled slightly, not with fear, but with something tightening and loosening inside. The necklace met her skin, cool at first, then warming. "I'm not sure I'm ready to return right away," Maya said honestly. "But I hear you, and I believe you want to learn." Rosa nodded without pushing. She opened her hands and let the necklace rest entirely in Maya's palms. Not bestowing like a favour, but placing like a trust. "This is your spot if you want it." Maya burst into tears. This time, tears that were allowed. From the kitchen, Ava quietly nudged a box of tissues toward the doorway and pulled back, letting the air be private enough. Footsteps sounded on the stairs. Leo appeared, shirt still creased, eyes haggard but bright. He stood on the threshold waiting for a nod. Maya looked at him and nodded. He stepped forward and wrapped his arms just enough to hold both women at once. "Thank you for holding on to yourself," he whispered to Maya, voice breaking. "And thank you, Mom, for making room for both of us." Rosa inhaled and tapped her son's hand lightly. "Now hold your tongue too," she joked, the first smile landing in the right place. They laughed, not loudly, but enough to touch. Sunlight crept over the sill and rested on the necklace lying across 3 pairs of hands. The wood grain looked like tiny veins beating quietly. By late morning, Rosa suddenly stood fumbling for words. "This evening, if you'd like to come home for a meal, our door is always open." Not a ceremony, a meal. She emphasized the last 2 words, reminding herself that home begins with dinner, not displays. Maya smiled through tears. "I'll come. When I'm ready." "Thank you for saying a meal," Leo winked. "I'll cook your favorite. Not proper by the rules, but right by the heart." Rosa faked a frown. "As long as it isn't too salty." All 3 laughed again. That afternoon, Rosa's door opened. No red carpet, no relatives, no booming introductions. Just a simple table, soup done right, omelette beside a plate of sautéed greens. On the right-hand shelf, a small new frame, a photo of the people who had once saved Maya, placed at eye level. Beneath it, a sprig labelled Maya's Choice. 2 small words Rosa had written on a slip tucked behind the frame so it wouldn't look showy. Maya stepped in slowly. The house scent hit her, familiar yet different, still the candle wax now mingled with something earthy and warm. She paused at the shelf, set a hand on the frame's edge and whispered, "I'm home." Rosa came from the kitchen, fingers oily, smiling shyly. "My omelette's no good." 2 pieces broke. "If it broke, we'll eat it broken." Maya grinned. "What matters is, people don't break." That was how the meal began. Nothing grand, just chewing slowly and looking long. Sometimes the table fell quiet, not from awkwardness, but because each was learning a new language, the language of respected empty spaces, of trying unfamiliar dishes, of hearing each other breathe. At the end, Rosa nudged a small box toward Maya. "That corner is yours. If tomorrow you change your mind, our house has room for change." Maya nodded. The tears didn't spill. They stayed at the rim, as if wanting to look a little longer at a picture whose last stroke had just been drawn. If you are in Maya's place, once called a ritual keeper instead of family, write 1 line. "I want to be called by my true name." If you are in Rosa's place, afraid of losing tradition and holding too tight, write, "I'm afraid of this, but I want to learn." If you are Leo, standing in the middle for too long, write, "From now on I stand beside." Each line is a wooden bead we can thread together, if we all hold on. And home is where heart comes first, then the rules. If one day you had to choose between keeping family tradition and keeping yourself, which side would you stand on, and why? The question sounds simple, but it rubs like a grain of sand in your shoe. The farther you walk, the more it stings. Because tradition is what parents hand down and the lineage guards, while self is what life has carved from wounds and hopes. Touch either side and you fear hurting the other. Some choose tradition, believing order keeps a house from collapsing. Some choose themselves, knowing that if the self fractures, every meal afterward is only ritual. There is no answer right for everyone, only the answer right for your heart in your context, where fear, love, and dignity meet on the same dinner table. I believe this. A home should be true to the heart first, then true to the rules. When the heart is set in the right place, any rule can be learned, but if the heart is pushed to the margins, every rule turns into a tether. Heart first means each person has a corner to breathe, a small photo frame, a sprig of leaves, a keepsake, so they are called by their true name, not shrunk into the role of ritual keeper. Heart first means you have the right to say I hurt, I'm afraid of losing what's left of me, and be heard as a human being, not merely a box on a family tree. But reaching heart first doesn't happen overnight. It begins with small sentences. May I tell the truth before I give my opinion? Can we try heart first rules after? I need a little shelf to breathe. In return, I'll learn the house rules step by step. When truth is brought to light, judgments often change meaning. What was once called stubbornness may simply be an effort to preserve identity. What was labelled disrespect may be a plea. Please don't erase me. And when the right apologies are spoken, I was wrong, I left you to fight alone. The door of home opens one more notch. If you are in Maya's place, remember, you do not have to trade your dignity to stay. If you are Rosa, remember, hold your child with trust, not with molds. If you are Leo, remember, standing beside is a braver act of love than silence. And if all three roles live in you on different days, then all the more you need a meal without ritual to listen to one another. Slow, clear, kind. Now it's your place in this shared story. Let the comments become a community shelf, where each person sets down one honest piece of themselves, as gently as placing a wooden bead back onto a broken string. You can choose one of these prompts, or write in your own way, one deep line. I chose tradition, myself, both, because your truest reason, the untold truth. What I wish my family understood about me is a fear limit hope. Start small. My shelf today holds an object photo memory, meaning why it helps me breathe. If you're comfortable, add 3 to 5 sentences about a time you chose heart first and what changed, even a little. You can also tag so we can find each other more easily. Because sometimes, just one sentence from you is enough to help someone, sitting alone between tradition and self, feel less adrift. And who knows, tomorrow they may find the courage to place a small photo frame in a corner of their home, just as you have placed a small line here in the comments. So, if you've had to choose, what did you choose and why? Leave a line below. We will read, we will learn, and together we will make more homes that are heart first, then rule keeping after,